Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate, they both get along, they're cool with each other, they're high-end competitors, etc., etc. And you also are old enough to know that in this society, whether they want to admit it or not, they don't like seeing somebody black coming at somebody white who is a beloved star of theirs. But you've known they were coming for you when you were waving your hands in your face to mock Caitlin Clark when you were beating her for the national championship.
Imagine going from trash-talking your way to the top to being kicked out of the league faster than a shot clock violation. That's exactly what happened to Angel Reese. The Chicago Sky just fired her, and the reason is going to make your jaw drop. Angel Reese was supposed to be the next big thing in the WNBA. She came in hot, talking smack and backing it up on the court. The Chicago Sky thought they struck gold with this rookie. She was putting up crazy numbers like 13 points and 13 rebounds a game. That's insane for a newcomer. But here's where things get wild. 1 minute, Reese is the talk of the town. The next, she's out of a job. And you know what's crazier? It's not just because of her performance. There's something else going on. Something that shocked everyone in the WNBA.
What is Angel Reese doing on the 50 most influential people as sports figures? Are you kidding me? A woman that rebounds and shows up half naked to games?
If you're going to put a black female from that league on that real estate, shouldn't it be Asia, not Angel Reese? Couple of things. I will say that about that cover with Miss Reese. It's an upgrade from some of the recent swimsuit edition cover models. I will give them that.
We're talking about a fall from grace so fast it'll give you whiplash. Let's talk about how Angel Reese went from sky high to rock bottom in record time. Hold up though. We can't talk about Reese's crash without looking at her takeoff. This girl was putting up numbers that had seasoned players shook. 13 points and 13 rebounds a game? For a rookie? That's not just good, that's scary good. So what was her secret? Angel Reese wasn't just another rookie. She was a force of nature on the court. The Chicago Sky thought they'd struck gold when they signed her. And for a while, it looked like they were right. Reese was averaging 13.6 points and 13.1 rebounds per game. That's the kind of stat line that makes coaches drool and opponents sweat.
50 most influential sports figures. Listen to this, who's on this list. Simone Biles, Don Staley, Candace Parker, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson, Juju Watkins.
There's one player that is the common denominator. It's the one that you've jumped off the bandwagon. And I have to be the Asian driver steering it back on course. All of this has to do with Caitlin Clark.
Did you just listen to that? They're all virtually from the WNBA. A league that didn't matter 3 months ago now has 8 of the most influential people.
But it wasn't just her play that got people talking. Reese had a mouth on her, and she knew how to use it. Her trash-talking game was almost as strong as her rebounding. Some fans loved it, others hated it, but everyone was paying attention. She was like a human highlight reel with a built-in microphone. You know what's wild? Her confidence seemed to grow with every game. It was like she was feeding off the energy of the crowd, both home and away. The more people reacted to her, the better she played. And the better she played, the more she talked. It was a cycle that had the Chicago Sky flying high. But here's where things get interesting. Reese wasn't just thriving on her own. She had a secret weapon, her relationship with head coach Teresa Weatherspoon. These two were tight, like peanut butter and jelly tight. Reese even said, "She was the only person that believed in me, the one that trusted me." That bond with Weatherspoon? It was like rocket fuel for Reese's confidence. She wasn't just playing for herself or the team, she was playing for her coach. Reese made it clear when she said, "I came to Chicago because of you." That's some serious loyalty right there. For a while, it seemed like the perfect storm. A rookie with talent to burn, a coach who believed in her, and a team ready to ride that wave to the top. Reese was the talk of the league, and the Chicago Sky were loving every minute of it.
So by having Angel Reese on the cover is like basically saying, again, that's the Caitlin Clark effect. All of those names you mentioned a year ago, I believe most of the general populace would not know who they are. They know who they are a little bit.
This expansion, they're drunk on Caitlin Clark. Kunta Kinte has them drunk and thinking, hey, we can now expand. And that's, I think the rosters are 12. Caitlin Clark is the slave that's building the WNBA, and all these black women are climbing all over top of her and piggybacking her to relevance and money. She's Kunta Kinte.
But you know what they say about things that seem too good to be true? Just when everyone thought Angel Reese was unstoppable, something changed. The tide turned so fast, it left everyone's head spinning. 1 minute she's on top of the world, the next? Well, that's where things get complicated. Remember that perfect storm we talked about? Well, it turned into a Category 5 hurricane. The Chicago Sky season went from promising to disastrous faster than you can say airball. How did a team with so much potential end up with a 13-27 record? And why was Angel Reese suddenly struggling to keep her head above water? Let's break it down. The Sky season was a total train wreck. A 13-27 record? That's not just bad, that's historically bad. We're talking about a team that was supposed to be contending for a championship, not fighting to stay out of the basement. And you know what happens when a team starts losing like that? Everyone gets tense. The locker room becomes a pressure cooker, and suddenly, those bonds that seem so strong start to crack. Now, here's where things get real messy. Remember Teresa Weatherspoon, the coach who was like a second mom to Reese? Well, she got fired. Just like that, boom, gone. And Reese, she was devastated. She said, "I'm heartbroken. I'm literally lost for words knowing what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life." Can you imagine losing your biggest supporter right when you need them the most? But wait, it gets worse. Turns out, Weatherspoon's coaching style was causing some serious drama in the locker room. There were rumors flying around about favoritism, with Reese supposedly getting special treatment. Now, we all know sports aren't fair, but when your teammates think you're the teacher's pet, that's a recipe for disaster. And speaking of disaster, let's talk about Reese's performance. Remember those insane numbers she was putting up? Well, they started to drop faster than a lead balloon. It was like watching a star burn out in real time. 1 minute she's dominating the court, the next, she's struggling to make an impact. You know what made it even worse? While Reese was struggling, Caitlin Clark was absolutely killing it. We're talking 27.8 points per game. That's not just good, that's MVP level stuff.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
And you better believe everyone was comparing the two. The media, the fans, probably even Reese herself. Talk about adding insult to injury. All this pressure, the losing, the coach getting fired, the team drama. It was like a perfect storm of stress for Reese. And when you're under that much pressure, sometimes you crack. The emotional toll was written all over her face. Every missed shot, every turnover, you could see it weighing on her. So there you have it. A promising rookie season turned into a nightmare. A coach fired, a team in disarray, and a young star struggling to find her footing. But here's the thing. This isn't the end of the story. Oh no, it gets even crazier, because just when you think things couldn't get any worse for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, something happened that shocked the entire WNBA. You thought things couldn't get any worse for Angel Reese? Well, hold on to your seats, because this story just took a turn that nobody saw coming. What could possibly be worse than a team in shambles and a star player's performance in freefall? The answer is about to shock you. The Chicago Sky dropped a bombshell that sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA. Angel Reese, the rookie sensation who was supposed to lead the team to glory, was accused of using steroid. Yeah, you heard that right. Steroid. In the WNBA, it's the kind of scandal that makes you do a double take. Now, let's be real for a second. Athletes using performance-enhancing drugs isn't exactly new, but in the WNBA, that's a whole different ballgame. This league prides itself on integrity and hard work. It's not just about the game, it's about setting an example. So when news broke that Reese might have been juicing, it hit different. Think about it. The pressure on these young athletes is insane. They're expected to perform at superhuman levels, day in and day out. And when things start going south, that pressure only gets worse. It's like being stuck in a pressure cooker with no release valve. For Reese, that pressure must have been off the charts. Her stats were dropping, her coach got fired, and her team was tanking harder than a brick thrown into the ocean. It's the kind of situation that can make even the most level-headed person start looking for a quick fix. But here's the thing. Using steroids isn't just cheating. It's a betrayal of everything the WNBA stands for. This league is all about showing what women can achieve through hard work and determination. Steroids. That's like saying all that isn't enough. The Chicago Sky didn't waste any time responding to the allegations. They fired Reese faster than you can say three-pointer. Just like that, she went from being the next big thing to a cautionary tale. It's the kind of fall from grace that makes you wince. And it wasn't just about Reese's personal reputation. The steroid allegations threw the whole team into chaos. Suddenly, everyone was questioning everything. How long had this been going on? Were there others involved? It was like dropping a grenade into an already unstable locker room. The Sky's management didn't mince words. They straight up said that Reese's alleged steroid use messed with team chemistry and played a big part in their failure to make the playoffs. Imagine being the player responsible for torpedoing your team's entire season. That's gotta hurt. Now, Reese's future in the WNBA is hanging by a thread thinner than dental floss. Once you get hit with a steroid scandal, it's not just about serving a suspension and coming back. It's about rebuilding trust. And in a league that puts so much emphasis on integrity, that's gonna be an uphill battle steeper than Mount Everest. This whole mess serves as a wake-up call for the entire sports world. It's easy to look at these young athletes and forget that they're human. They're dealing with pressures most of us can't even imagine. And sometimes those pressures can lead to desperate decisions. The WNBA now faces a tough challenge. How do they balance supporting their players with maintaining the integrity of the game? It's not just about punishing Reese. It's about making sure this doesn't happen again. Angel Reese's fall from grace is a wake-up call for the entire WNBA. From rookie sensation to fired player, her story shows how quickly things can unravel. The steroid scandal raises serious questions about the pressures young athletes face and the lengths they might go to meet sky-high expectations. This isn't just about Reese. It's about the integrity of the whole league. The WNBA prides itself on being a positive example. Now they've got to figure out how to support their players while keeping the game clean. You've got to wonder, can Reese bounce back from this? Can any athlete recover from a scandal like this and regain their reputation? Or are they forever labeled by their mistakes? It's a tough question with no easy answer. One thing's for sure, the WNBA will never be the same after this.